They pushed you, broke you, tore you apart piece by piece, laughing as you struggled to hold yourself together. They watched you drown, knowing they could have reached out, but they didn't. They chose to leave you in the dark, thinking you'd never find your way out, thinking you'd stay lost forever. It was in that moment you could have chosen to stay there, in the shadows where they left you, waiting for someone to come and save you. But you didn't. You couldn't. Because something deep inside you refused to let them win. Something in you recognized the truth they tried to bury. Your power was never in their hands. You were not their puppet. You were never meant to be anyone's second choice. They underestimated your strength, and that mistake would cost them more than they could ever imagine. In that darkness, when they thought you were done, you began to rebuild. Slowly, quietly. While they celebrated your fall, you were silently rising. Every moment of pain became fuel. Every lie they told, every time they turned their back on you, was just another piece of evidence that you could never trust them, and never needed them. They thought they were burying you, but they were planting a seed of resilience, of anger, of unshakable determination. The world thought it had seen the last of you, but what they failed to see was that you were never a victim of your circumstances. You were always the master of your fate. And in the quiet of your struggle, you became something they could never anticipate. They made you feel small. They made you feel weak, like you didn't deserve the things you dreamed about. But what they didn't understand is that they were never in control. They never held the power to define who you were or who you would become. They believed their words would break you, that their coldness would consume you. But it didn't. Instead, you became something so much stronger than they ever imagined. You became a force. Now, as you stand tall, they can feel it. The shift. They thought you were just another person they could crush. Another casualty in their game of manipulation. But they failed to see that what they were really doing was awakening the beast inside you. The one that had always been there, waiting for the moment when you would finally see the truth. That you were never meant to be held down. They're not ready because they still believe they control the game. They still think that their words can break you. That their doubt will stop you. But what they fail to understand is that they don't get to decide anymore. The beast they created is no longer bound by their rules. The power they thought they held over you has slipped through their fingers, and now, they can only watch in fear as you rise above them. They've always underestimated you. From the very beginning, they thought you were weak. They thought they could break your spirit, tear you apart with their words, use their control to mold you into something that fit their expectations. But the more they tried to break you, the stronger you became. Because each insult, each moment of betrayal, every time they pushed you into the shadows, it only made you stronger. It only made you fight harder to prove them wrong. And now they're left watching you move in a direction they can't follow. You're no longer chasing after their approval, no longer waiting for their validation. You're carving your own path, building your own empire, and they have no choice but to watch from the sidelines as you pass them by. They thought they could shatter you with their words, their actions, their cold indifference. But instead, they created something they could never control. A force that moves with purpose, with clarity, with a vision that no one, not even them, can derail. They created a beast, an unstoppable, relentless force of nature. And now, they must watch as that beast takes everything they once thought they could control. The scariest part for them is that they're realizing too late. The beast you've become is far more powerful than anything they could have ever imagined. You don't need them. You don't need their approval, their validation, or their permission. What they've done is irrelevant now. Their attempt to destroy you only gave you the fuel to rise, to grow, and to surpass them in ways they can't even begin to comprehend. And now they'll have to face the consequences of their actions. Because they pushed too far, and in doing so, they awakened something in you that will never back down. They thought they could control the narrative, but now they must watch as you write the ending. And that ending? It's nothing they could have predicted. As you rise higher, they'll try to catch up, but they won't be able to. They'll look at you from a distance, pretending to ignore your success, pretending it doesn't affect them. But deep down, they know. They can feel it. Every step you take is another reminder of how far ahead of them you are. They'll try to downplay it, dismiss it, act like it doesn't matter. But the truth is, they can't escape the fact that you're everything they never believed you could be. They'll watch as you conquer the battles they thought would break you. They'll see your name in lights, in headlines, in places they never thought you would be. And they'll try to act like it doesn't bother them, like they don't care. But you'll know. You'll see it in their eyes, the jealousy, the regret, the realization that they missed their chance to stand beside you when they had the opportunity. They'll try to make excuses for themselves, pretend that their failure is not connected to their mistreatment of you. But deep down, they'll know that the beast you've become is the result of their cruelty. And with every step forward, you'll leave them behind. They'll scream, they'll beg, they'll try to pull you back. But you won't listen. Because you've learned one of the most powerful lessons of all. Their opinions no longer matter. The only thing that matters now is your own belief in yourself. And you believe in your power, your strength, and your ability to achieve everything they thought was impossible. Now every victory you claim is a slap in the face to them. Every success is a reminder of the person they tried to destroy. And it doesn't matter how hard they try to convince themselves that they never needed you, that they never doubted you. The truth is clear. They created a beast and now they must face it. And the hardest part for them? They can never outrun the monster they made. And as you continue to rise, you'll reach heights they could never even dream of. Every accomplishment, every victory will be another nail in the coffin of their doubt. The things they once told you were impossible will become your reality. You'll walk into rooms they never thought you'd have access to. You'll speak with confidence knowing you've earned your place. And they'll be left in the shadows wondering how they missed it. They'll see you, but they won't be able to touch you anymore. They'll try to throw their old insults at you, but they'll bounce off like nothing. Because you've outgrown them. You've outgrown the lies they fed you, the manipulations they used to keep you small. You've transcended their world and now you operate in a space they can never enter. The harder they try to drag you back, the more obvious it becomes that they never had the power over you they thought they did. They thought you needed them, that you needed their approval. But you were never dependent on them. You always had what you needed within you, even when they tried to convince you otherwise. Now, as you stand tall, you realize the truth. They were never the source of your power. They were just obstacles in your path and you've learned how to crush them. Their regret will eat at them. They'll watch your success and know, deep down, that they could have been part of your journey. But they didn't believe in you when it mattered. They chose to break you instead of build with you. And now, it's too late. You're too far ahead. You're too powerful to be stopped. They will never catch up, and they will never have what you've earned. And the most beautiful part? You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything to them. Your success, your rise, is the greatest punishment. Your greatness is the answer they'll never get, the question they'll never have the courage to ask. They created a beast. And now, they must face the consequences. But no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to stop the force of nature that you've become.